Quite amazing, to be quite honest with you, my gorgeous Leone. This is going to be quite amazing indeed. And I'm talking about a week in between the 9th and the 15th of January 2023. Do you know, when it comes to this week, like right at the beginning, you are gonna have such a moment of waking up. I mean, I'm not saying that you were sleeping, but you will know what I mean, because somebody very much so interesting in your life, somebody who you kind of maybe look up to, or somebody who you kind of like watch every now and then, or somebody who is in your life but it's not completely connected to you, basically. So it's to do with a certain person in your life who you may be watching or paying attention to, somebody who is like normally inspiring you, but it's not physically in your life. That particular person, my gorgeous Leone, it's about to take a center stage indeed. And what do I mean by this is that at the beginning of this week, you are going to become aware of something that that person has actually done. And this in itself, it's really going to inspire you so much. And it's to do with something that that person has done when it comes to their life, and when it comes to them living their life in a specific way. You know that the actual inspirations like this, it's absolutely mind-blowing when we come across in our lives, especially when it comes through somebody who we already feel a very powerful connection to. So these things that we get inspired by these specific people in our lives are also kind of, they feel different, and they are playing a very significant and quirky role when it comes to they're helping us to open ourselves. Sorry, I'm just gonna let Coco out. You see, this situation, Coco, this really help us, to open ourselves, to understand the specific things about ourselves that we kind of, it's not that we don't understand, but how to get to the certain aspects of our lives that we feel very strongly kind of attracted to, and things like that. Sometimes, people like this, they do kind of present like a bit of a spiritual bridge that we cross over, because through them we understand something very kind of unique and very specific about ourselves. And sometimes just that understanding in itself, it's actually enough, to become serious about something, so serious about something about your future that you become so adamant that that's all what you need. This is the all energy that you need, because nothing is literally going to stop you after this moment in time. Nothing is going to stop you here, my gorgeous Leone. So through that person, you're going to understand and you're going to realize something very specific about yourself, especially how you want your future to be. And it's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. As I said, sometimes specific people in our lives like this, they are playing absolutely mind-blowing role when it comes to us finding ourselves finally. So yes, my gorgeous Leone, this is a lot to do with you having your wake-up call, your wake-up moment. And at the same time, you need to understand that this is indeed your time. This is indeed your moment, my gorgeous Leone. So just remember that at the beginning of this week, you are gonna be inspired by somebody so much, and you're not gonna be able to stop thinking about it whatsoever. You will really want your life to be like this in a specific way. You will want to live your life in a specific way. You will want to kind of really be surrounded by certain things that you're not surrounded by now, but also you will know that this is probably going to lead towards one of the biggest, an absolutely a major step in your life on your spiritual journey, because slowly but surely you are gonna reach such a powerful destination. And this is already going to start at around the end of the week. And this powerful destination that I'm talking about, it is going to really literally, you are going to become aware of this opportunity, and now normally you wouldn't even notice this opportunity, and this opportunity that you're going to become aware of now, it's really going to take over, and it's just kind of going to surprise surprise you also how strong you feel towards this opportunity. But then again, at the same time, this opportunity is very much so closely connected to everything that was happening at the beginning of the week, you know, and this is going to be the part of your natural progression after this moment in time. So this opportunity is somehow going to be connected like to everything that I've actually said so far, and that's the only reason why you're going to be able to notice this. And this in itself, it's always good. So that's why I'm saying that you're going to find yourself on crossroads, but not as such. You're just going to surprise yourself like how adamant you know do you feel, especially when it comes to you becoming aware of that opportunity at the end of the week indeed. So going back to the beginning of this week, my gorgeous Leonie, I really hope that I'm not too confusing. I'm really sorry, but this is going to be really important week. So it's not only about you being inspired by that person. It's not only about you having this like kind of idea and realization, what do you want to do in your future, but it's also, you know, 2 or 3 days after that moment in time, you are going to have this like mind-blowing vision, and that vision that you are going to have, it's really going to be alongside all these things that I've already said. You're going to be even more inspired, you're going to be even more optimistic. There are all sorts of ideas that you're going to have about yourself and about your life, and now at that moment in time, you're going to realize how energetic you are going to feel. And this is going to be a healthy sign that this is something that it's already making you feel so much better and so re-energized, and so much is going to start fading into the background, and all those things that were bothering you and all the negativity that you've been through over the last 2 or 3 years, you know, it's all going to start like kind of fading into the background. How powerful this is actually going to be. So you can expect this mind-blowing vision, which is really going to bring you further and additional things in kind of like in the form of the actual ideas and things like that into your life. But most importantly, when you become aware of that vision, and that vision, it's like really bits and pieces about how you want your future to be, and also like everything that, you know, happened at the beginning of the week, you know, and things like that. So that vision also, my gorgeous Leonie, it's actually going to really make you aware of like kind of how you're gonna actually do this, because you're gonna realize something from a completely different perspective, from a completely different angle. So because the only thing that is actually going to be stopping you right now is like you feeling like you're not ready, or you feeling like it's not the right time. No, baby, no, it is never going to be the right time. The right time is going to be when you decide, my gorgeous Leonie, when the right time is actually going to be. And that's exactly what you're going to realize, and that's exactly what is going to happen, because you are going to realize something from a completely different perspective on, and especially when it comes to you thinking for the last 8 or 9 months how your hands were tied at the back, and maybe you thought that like how unhappy you were, you just wanted kind of so much more out of life. You just have found yourself like plodding along and going around and doing things that you need to do, and almost subconsciously you will like kind of keep on waiting for the right moment in time. But if we are to do something really big and really important, but if we are keep on waiting for the right moment and the right time, that right moment and right time will never kind of arrive. Do you know what I mean? So you're the one, you're your own a spiritual little clock, my gorgeous Leonie, and this is something that you need to understand, because I know when I say that you're going to be able to kind of understand things from a different perspective, it's a lot to do with things that you felt powerless about over the last 9 or 10 months, quite a lot. So now you're going to realize, oh my God, exactly what do you need to do. You're going to realize exactly which step do you need to make. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's like you are going to feel really proud with yourself, trust me, and lots of people around you are going to be admiring you for actually what you're going to be doing, and your energy and vibration is going to change, and the people who knows you are going to be telling you like, what's going on, Leonie, my gorgeous Leonie, what's going on, what's happening, you've got something on your mind, you know, and you're going to like this whatsoever. And let me tell you that this, what's happening right now, you need to understand that this is going to bring you one of the biggest achievements into your life. This is going to lead towards you living so much better life. You living so much happier life. You being surrounded by the people that you want to be surrounded by, and you enjoying the fruit of your labor. But it's not as much as about you enjoying the fruits of your labor, but it's more about you being honest with yourself and making an important adjustment, in your life. This is a lot to do with you being happy. It's not so much about money, finances, and things like that. No, baby, no. But it's about your own happiness, which is ultimately going to change your life in the best possible way. So this is indeed really important. Start with your own happiness and do things that make you feel like enjoy this spiritual journey, and everything else when it comes to money, business, and things like that, that's all going to come out later. Do you know what I mean? You are going to think a lot how this life is really, really short. We are 10, we are 20, we are 30, we are 40, we are 50, we are 60, we are 70, we are 80, we are 90, we are 100 years old, if we are lucky to live to that age. My point is that the time goes so fast, and this is why on this earth time goes really, really fast indeed, and this is why we need to make the most of it. And I'm telling you this because you are going to have some kind of a sense of urgency indeed when it comes to this, and there is someone really spiritual in your life, like a psychic or someone really spiritual who is connected to you, who is extremely intuitive. It's like gonna mention something to you, and it's going to tell you, that person is going to tell you something somehow. That person is going to prepare you on something negative that it's about to happen, but not to you, to your personal life. And that negativity that you're going to become aware of that it's about to happen on the outside is going to push you even more towards doing this, towards making this amazing step in your life. This is going to lead towards one of the greatest victory and accomplishments ever, but it's you doing something for yourself, to yourself. So it's not necessarily with money and finances, but you just like kind of getting the most out of life and getting back home to yourself. This is so important, my gorgeous Leonie, and you have been waiting for this for a really, really long time. By the time you get to the mid part of this week, you need to understand that you have to sort something out with someone. I know this sounds like, oh my goodness, you have to sort something out with someone. You know that there is a problem that you have, you and somebody else who is very close to you, and I've been talking to you about it, I've been speaking to you about it. It might have not happened in like the most of abrupt of ways, you know what I mean, what happened in between you and somebody else in your life. It is to do with somebody who's so important to you, like a family member, someone who is ridiculously close to you, or maybe like a ridiculously close friend, because ridiculously close friends also show as a family members, like in the world of spirituality, because they understand us emotionally. They're very much so very close to us. So there is always like a rather thinner line in between, but the bottom line is that you are really going to need to sort something out with someone whom you have kind of fallen out, and that person that you have fallen out with, there is something not quite right with that person. That person is not thinking straight, and that person is not being themselves. That person is going through something extremely ridiculously difficult. I shouldn't use the word ridiculously difficult, but you know what I mean, like that person is going through some kind of changes, some kind of like some really difficult situations, like more than one. That person is struggling with something, and it's also struggling with something like probably a lot to do with their maybe like issues in their mind, and also struggling a lot with like maybe some kind of addictions as well. So you see what I mean? You shouldn't really take personal what that person said, but I know when something happened in between you and that person, it happens so quick, in such a kind of like a really stroppy way. And the problem is that you two have just basically kind of like a really kind of you just kind of have less you just didn't really have any relationship after that moment in time. And this is important for you to understand, to try somehow to come up with a solution, to actually to become friend with that person again. This is very, very important, because there is so much that you are going to get out of it. And I think that this affected you quite a lot, and you went into this mode where you kind of like really bar someone out of your life, or you block someone out of your life. or you kind of ignore someone out of your life to the point where you kind of suppress your emotions to the certain way when it comes to that specific person. But when you're suppressing emotions when it comes to the someone really important in our lives, at the same time you can pretend as much as you can with yourself, but this is going to be affecting your way of thinking, this is going to be affecting your mind, this is going to be affecting your planning. And when things don't come like out the way they should come out, you know, it can become a little bit dangerous, because we do kind of like a really have this amount of negative energy within, which is a kind of like a really affecting us, you know, and it's like opposite of the actual healing energy, for example. Do you see what I mean? So this is why this is so important, because you are going to hear something unusual again, and almost as if that person is going to demand something really crazy and really ludicrous. And I want you to understand, if that person is demanding something really crazy and ludicrous, don't make things worse, just try to understand from a different angle, and don't kind of blow up or anything like that. Just try to be as gentle and friendly as possible, as much as you possibly can, because you are gonna need to understand that, you know, that person actually needs your help. And sometimes people don't even, like, people act in a completely different way when they need our help, you know, but especially those people who are so close to us, who understand us, you know, they're natural with us. People who are like our family members, you know, they just say how it is, you know what I mean? Sometimes we don't like it, but it's always good to know the truth rather than not truth, you know what I mean? So please do remember and understand that that person is going to need your help. This is going to get back to you so much, you know, but it's not going to happen overnight. You know, you're just going to need to wait a certain amount of time to actually pass, but you need to have some kind of a starting point indeed. So when you become aware of that person like acting in a weird way, just understand and remember what I said. But also when it comes to the midweek, my gorgeous Leonie, what else I was going to say, you know, this is going to be such a waking up week, not only when it comes to you realizing that, you know, that you want to do something really specific about your future, you want to return to something that you always wanted, and something that was left on the side. So now this is going to take a center stage, but it's a lot to do with the actual people in your life. This week it's also going to start bringing those people who are close to you even closer. So at around the midweek, the people who are in your life, and this is really beautiful when people in your life are like kind of showing a lot when it comes to the specific reading, because it also means that, you know, you feel certain people in your life, and you're starting to realize, you're going to start to realize how much more you want to spend also around those people in your life who mean to you the most. And even more so on top of that, you know, somebody very kind of close to you, it's really going to inspire you so much here. Somebody extremely close to you, like your partner or your best friend or someone very close to you, it's going to like really have a quite interesting conversation with you. And once you start having an interesting conversation with that person at around the midweek, suddenly you're gonna realize some kind of option, and that you are gonna love so much. There's some kind of option, it's gonna be mentioned, and you're gonna instantly feel a strong connection towards it. And this is gonna give you such an amazing determination and a whole new initiative at this stage in your life. This is going to bring you so much strength, you know, courage, you know. It's going to make you feel instantly optimistic, but also active, you know. It's gonna you know, at the same time, it's gonna put you on this mode where you like gonna start feeling very, very emotional on one hand, but very excited on another hand as well. So there is some kind of option that you're gonna realize through somebody in your life whom you are going to have a conversation about something completely different, and then something is going to come up, some kind of option, and then you're going to be like, oh my god. Then you're going to become almost instantly so determined, like there is no tomorrow. And that in itself is going to require from you to actually you know, move on from the specific situation. Something is going to come to an end here, and you need to understand, in order to kind of take this on, you're also going to need to kind of understand that something else came to an end, something that you were really struggling with over the last year quite a lot, and something that you used to feel so passionate about. You know, this is good. This is a good sign, because it means that you're changing, you're evolving, and you're growing, and you're reaching this stage in your life when there is nothing for you to learn there anymore. Karmically came to an end, and it's going to be like kind of dragging until you notice and realize what this is. So something came to an end, but you need to understand that as soon as you kind of like make a decision to move on from that, at the same time you are leaving this for something much better. And this is exactly what's happening right now at the time of this transformation, because you're going to realize that you've got like what you need, everything what you need at this stage in order to kind of leave something behind. And what is this going to be? It's going to be absolutely obvious. Okay, by the time you get to the last part of this week, my gorgeously on it, you know, it's all about this, like, oh my god, you are going to have a little bit of an adventure here within the last, you know, within the last 2 or 3 days, within the last 2 or 3 days this week, you're actually going to have a mini adventure. And this is going to happen completely unplanned, and this is going to happen completely out of the blue. And you are going to like come across certain people and completely unplanned, but it's more about the actual optimism that you're going to feel, enthusiasm that you're going to feel, and this in itself, this adventure that you're actually going to have, it's also at the same time, you know, it's like, it's just like really gonna make you aware of like, you know what, now it's time to actually really kind of like just move on with your life. This adventure that you're going to have at the end of the week, it's also at the same time going to be the time where you are really gonna basically become inspired by even more things at this stage. You know, this is all about the inspiration, and it's all about your growth. And this adventure that you're going to have at the end of the week, it's like really going to inspire you even further, but it's also going to open your eyes towards a very, very interesting bright prospects. And these bright prospects that you're going to become aware of at the same time, it's just like you're not literally going to be able to stop thinking about them whatsoever. This is going to bring you so much hope and so much like kind of like optimism again into your life, but it's going to also make you aware of exactly what do you need to be persistent, and what do you need to stick to, which plan do you need to stick to. This in itself, it's kind of going to, this adventure that you are going to have at around the end of the week, it's going to make you learn. You're going to learn something. You're going to become aware of something. And this is going to happen once you feel a very strong connection to ask something and investigate something and ask further something, like to explore something. And that is all going to lead towards you by the end of the week knowing exactly how are you going to manifest certain things, how you're going to kind of manifest certain goal and make it the actual reality. And that in itself is going to put you on a path where you are going to be facing some kind of a brand new project as well, because the brand new project at the end of the week is going to be the part of all this that I said. And you will know exactly what this brand new project is going to be at the end of the week, because you are going to feel a very strong urge to learn something, you know. And when you kind of like some kind of specific subject is going to be on your mind, and you're going to have a very, very strong urge to kind of learn something, and that in itself is going to be a clear sign and a clear indication that very, very soon after that moment in time, there is going to be a very brilliant and surprising opportunity which is going to present itself at a time when you least expected. You will see how everything is connected, but at the same time, this is going to be the beginning of a clear direction in your life. Your clear direction, it's going to be shown, and you're gonna absolutely love it, my gorgeously Oni, indeed. Okay, my gorgeously Oni, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.